Good morning, Dr. Azam. Today, our group will present BIMP-AEGA rhetoric or reality of the maritime sector through UNCLOS. My name is Tsai Siaw Ni. I will be presenting the introduction, sustainability, and conclusions. BIMP-AEGA is a sub-regional corporation established in 1994 involving Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. It focuses on developing less developed regions such as Sabah, Sarawak, and Maluku by promoting trade, investment, and regional cooperations. Due to its island-based geography, the maritime sector is very important. The sea transport is the most effective and cost-effective way to connect region and facilitate trade. This initiative is supported by UNCLOS, which provides the legal framework for maritime governance, including navigation right, maritime boundaries, and resource management.
Now I will talk about the advantage. BIMP-AEGA has made significant contribution to regional development across three key areas, including regional integrations, logistic efficiency, and the development of remote areas. First, BIMP-AEGA has strengthened regional integrations by coordinating trade, investment, and maritime cooperations among Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Its latest plan, PV2035, incorporates climate-smart agriculture, the blue economy, and digital innovations. By 2024, the BIMP-AEGA economy reached $1.34 trillion, which accounts for 80% of the four country combined GDP, with tourism arrived reaching 50% to 6 million visitors. Second, the framework has improved logistic efficiency. The Sabah Bay Container Port in Sabah transit distance by 118 nautical miles, saving approximately 9 hours of sailing time and reduced fuel costs. It is also set to reach 1 million TEU capacity by 2035. Third, PNB-EAGA target remote regions that cover over 16% of member country land area. Through 270 priority infrastructure projects with $67 billion support by the ADB. The framework is integrating this historically marginalized area into regional economic activity.
Okay, now let me continue with the disadvantage, and it consists of 3 points. First and foremost, in the maritime policy within the BIMP-AEGA region is maritime boundary and sovereign dispute. Although UNCLOS given rule to define sea area like exclusive economic zone (EEZ), some part of sea are still not clear, agreed by this country. This is because EEZ claim overlap in certain regions. It means more than one country believe the same sea area belong to them. Because of this situation, there is legal uncertainty about who has the right to control and use this area. When boundaries are unclear, countries may become more careful and defense when using maritime areas, especially for the economic activity. For example, in part of South China Sea, Malaysia, Philippines, Brunei, Indonesia have overlapping claims in nearby water. If one country allows fishing area, oil exploration, or send petrol ship in this area, another country may disagree and consider it a violation of their claim territory due to unclear maritime boundary and legal uncertainty. Next. The second disadvantage is that UNCLOS is based on an old legal framework that does not fully adapt to modern maritime challenge. UNCLOS was established in 1982 and primarily set out broad principles for maritime zone, state right, and environment protection. However, it lacks detailed regulatory mechanism, real-time monitoring system, and effectively enforcement tools required to address contemporary issues such as climate change, maritime pollution, and digital shipping activity. As a result, there is a gap between legal provision and practical enforcement. For example, in regions such as BIMP-AEGA, UNCLOS defines maritime zone but does not require using technology system to monitor illegal waste dumping or oil spill. Lastly, the disadvantage of UNCLOS within the BIMP-AEGA region is the lack of strong maritime security. Although UNCLOS provides legal rules for maritime zone and navigation, it does not ensure effective enforcement against security threats at sea. In regions like BIMP-AEGA, maritime areas are larger and difficult to monitor, and enforcement depend on each country's capacity. As a result, issues such as piracy, smuggling, and illegal fishing can still occur. According to Johata and Machetio, 2023, found that regional cooperation has improved in recent years, but security challenges have not been completely eliminated yet. For example, in the Sulu-Sulawesi Sea between Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, maritime security has improved due to joint patrol. However, the area is still considered a zone of concern, with occasional incidents of piracy and other maritime crime reported in recent years.
Okay, let me start to discuss the critical analysis. Even so, despite this achievement, significant gap remains between BIMP-EAGA policy promise and on-the-ground reality across three areas. First, coordination among member countries remains weak. Without a permanent secretariat with binding authority, military agreements are rarely enforced at the national level. Overlapping maritime claims in the Sulu and Siaw see further undermine genuine collaborations. Second, logistical inefficiency persists. Many smaller ports still rely on manual custom processing, causing long carrier delay. While SPCP experience progress, the majority of feeder ports remain unmodernized, creating supply chain bottlenecks. Third, development remains deeply uneven. Only 28% of the 270 infrastructure project has been completed. Mindanao, despite being a code BIMP-AEGA area, continue to face armed conflict, poor infrastructure, and high poverty rates. This state is stark contrast to framework promise of inclusive growth.
Now let me continue with the potential improvement. Firstly, the improvement can be strengthening maritime boundary cooperation. Instead of directly dividing dispute maritime area, countries should implement a structured and rule-based negotiation system. This system should include limited negotiation round, clear decision timeline, and qualified majority voting. For example, agreement by 3 out of 4 countries to prevent deadlock. The second improvement is developing supplementary regional legal instruments. Instead of replacing UNCLOS, member states should introduce regional specific, like add-on regulation, that are more detailed and practiced for current maritime issues. These supplementary rules should focus on areas where UNCLOS is too general, such as maritime environmental protection, sustainable fishery management, and digital maritime governance. For instance, BIMP-AEGA country can introduce a regional regulation that requires ships to use satellite-based monitoring system to detect illegal dumping of waste or oil spilled in coastal water. The third improvement is enhancing maritime security cooperation. To improve effectiveness, countries should strengthen institutional cooperation mechanisms rather than relying only on ad hoc patrol. This includes developing real-time maritime information sharing systems, expanding joint surveillance operations, and using advanced monitoring technology such as satellite tracking and radar systems. For example, in the Sulu-Sulawesi Sea, maritime security cooperation can be further enhanced through the use of new technology.
I will be presenting the sustainability. Sustainability is essential to ensure that maritime development can continue in the long term without damaging the environment. One key approach is the development of green port. Traditional ports contribute to air pollution, water contamination, and waste discharge. By adopting green practices such as renewable energy, electrification of the port equipment, and proper waste management system, port can significantly reduce emission and environmental impact. For example, providing shore power allows ships to turn off their engine while dock improvement air quality and reducing pollution. However, sustainable is also affected by maritime boundary issue. Unclear or overlapping boundaries can lead to conflict, overfishing, and poor resource management, which harm maritime ecosystem. Without proper cooperation, resources may be overexploited and environmental damage by increase. In addition, the maritime legal framework remain inconsistent across countries. Although UNCLOS provide general guidance, different national standards make it difficult to control pollution and regulate maritime activity effectively. This lead to uneven sustainability outcome across the regions. Therefore, stronger regional cooperation is the development of supplementary legal framework are necessary to ensure consistent enforcement, better environment protection, and sustainable use of maritime resources. In conclusion, BIM-AEGA is not just rhetoric, but an incomplete reality. While it has achieved progress in regional integration, logistic and development challenges, such as weak coordination, maritime dispute, and legal limitations, still exist. Overall, stronger cooperation, better implementation, and greater focus on sustainability are needed to fully achieve its goal and ensure long-term maritime development. That will all for our presentation. This is the reference and thank you.